A while ago, I became really interested in this idea of trying to capture the stories and recipes of dishes that each of us grow up eating. And the more I've learned about food, a huge component that I think that plays a huge role in food is memories. We all have our own food memories. Some of them are really good, some of them are bad. And the taste and smell and texture of food are really important, but there are certain foods that bring us back to certain memories of eating the food itself, but also a place and setting. And for me, that dish is Kimchi Jigae. And so I wanted to create this video to capture my own personal memory of my mom making Kimchi Jigae for me and my brothers growing up. Sound check, 1, 2, 3, sound check. Okay.
So we can eat?
No, we don't eat first. We talk first, and then we eat. You don't want to hear. You don't want to hear an interview. Okay. So first, talk about how you make the kimchi jjigae. Basically, what you told me as you were making it.
You get the leftover kimchi.
Okay.
All the leftovers, like even the juice and whatever, the reserve that I gather together, I put that in and put pork belly meat in, and tubu if we have tubu, and bean sprout if we have bean sprout. If you don't have tubu, you don't have bean sprout, that's fine. That's all I put it in, and I just boil it.
So basically just kogi
And meat, and I don't put any water in because I like the natural juice that comes from the kimchi. Tastes much better.
How long do you cook it for?
Until meat is done. I don't really like it when the kimchi is really soft. I want it a little bit crunchy. I mean, it's for different people, you know, a different preference, but I prefer a little more crunchy. You can cook a little longer. But when the meat gets overcooked, it doesn't taste good either.
So this is a meal that we ate a lot growing up. Basically, you would make like a huge pot of it and then we'd eat it all week. So why was that the dish you made?
Because it was easy, and we like our family likes spicy food.
What's your like favorite meal that you ate growing up?
I don't know it in English. 조개젓.
Oh, so like salted clams.
Salted clam, and you know, I like that, and I like uiji, the pickle cucumber. But it's not pickle. It's really salty pickle.
Huh. Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
And then 묻혀가지고.
Yeah.
I like that. So basically, like a lot of salty food.
And then the second question is, what's a meal that you have that has a special memory attached to it?
Like you know, that salty pickle. Like my grandmother. This was going back long time ago, but like my grandmother raised me until I was a little older. So what I remember is my grandmother, and my grandma, you know, like even now, sometimes it just, you know, that vision, I guess, that comes when I was young. I would go to grandma's, I would be in grandma's house, and in the background, you know, at the time there was no TV or nothing. There was only radio, and I mean, they didn't even really have electricity. You know, and there's a radio playing. There's always a children program at the time of the dinner time, and there's a children music playing in the background. And my grandmother will cook, make me uiji, pickle cucumber. So there was no banchan. There was no like elaborate food.
It was just that.
Yeah, because you know, grandma was poor, so she made that, and then she made 된장찌개, and then that, and then boribap.
Oh, okay.
And that was the best meal. I mean, I remember that now. I remember, and I crave it all the time, and you could never taste that meal, you know. And that, and another one is when in Korea, you go on a trip, field trip, and they only go on a field trip once a year in Korea when you are in grade school. And my mom used to pack me a lunch, and the sushi, kimbap.
Oh yeah.
And her idea of making it was so special from any other people, because she used to make kimbap and dip kimbap in an egg.
Oh.
And then fry it.
Oh, and fry it.
And then she would pack it for me,
like
right?
Kimmari?
It's not
Kinda like,
it's not a kimmari, but
anyway.
it's a kimbap, and then she cuts it, and then she dips it in the egg, and then she fries both sides.
Okay.
And she give it to me like that. And then, you know, when I go on a field trip, when I open my, you know, the lunch bag, you know, everybody will be, ooh, wow. You know, I remember that.
Got it. So Emily has a fun question. Sidelines over there.
What's your favorite American dish?
Lasagna?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What I think you were gonna say is you used to talk about how when you were in college, there was the hot turkey sandwich.
Yeah. Not hot turkey sandwich.
It was like a hot, yeah.
It's a hoagie, but it's a hoagie, but it's
like a warm,
yeah.
and there's like gravy and mashed potatoes. So the whole purpose of this whole video project is like capturing foods that like have, basically there are certain foods that you experience that have like an emotional aspect to it, and so that's what I wanted to capture, because like for me, Korean food is like, it's good and tasty, but like it's also like there's like an emotional component to it, because it's like what you grew up eating. And so when you're talking about like you cooking for your siblings, it's funny because like that's kind of like what I ended up doing sometimes too, not all the time. And I do remember like there were things that I made that Steven and Aaron didn't. They were really disgusting, but they ate it anyway. And so yeah, it's kind of fun to see that it's like full circle. But.
He's so tired. He's so tired.
Hopefully he'll sleep till like